hasn't really made a difference. Not even a dent in their troubles. The Lakers are 0-2 with AD back in the lineup. Put in perspective, that offense, without LeBron, ranks 30th in the NBA. Here's AD on the recent struggles.
You know, it's frustrating for me because I know the position we're in, and I mean, it's a rhythm thing, and not being able to play in 9 weeks, 30 games is tough. It's like you're starting over, with the guys, and just trying to find a connection with these guys again. They're trying to find a connection with me, so it's like we're starting from zero, which is tough, so late in the season. But it's something that we have to figure out. Like I said, with no practice time. I had one practice, so the rhythm comes from the games, and you want to be able to win those games still, but you got to try to figure it out on the fly, which we're good.
All right, let me pluck a little bit of good news out of all of this. A report that LeBron may return from his high ankle sprain as early as this week. So, Antoine, will LeBron's return solve all the Lakers' problems?
It won't solve all the problems because AD has to get back to playing basketball at a very, very high level. Obviously, we know he's missed a ton of time. This is what we was afraid of. That he was going to come back really rusty. It's going to take him a while to get back into it. I like the fact that he came back early. He still has plenty of games to get his rhythm back. But I said this in the beginning, when both of these guys went down, they were going to slide down the Western Conference and put themselves in a very tough position. They're a game and a half from being in the 7th, 8th spot. And now they need LeBron to come back because seeding is important. I mean, obviously the teams at top don't want to play them, want to play the Lakers in the first round. But right now the Lakers are sliding. They're not playing very good basketball. AD's going to probably need all these games to get his rhythm back. Now, what I did like is his aggressive state the second game more than the first game. He was 5 for 19. I like the fact he was aggressive and trying to score the basketball, and they need that from him. But right now, they do need LeBron to come back. I think we're giving them too much of a slide scale because LeBron has been so great in the past throughout the playoffs and been able to dominate. And we believe that LeBron's going to come back and just be this superhero. But they got to get back to playing good basketball. It's a lot of good teams in the Western Conference that are playing really, really well and that are not scared of the Lakers anymore. They're not scared of the Lakers. They're going to give them a tough battle. No. And now you're talking about a very tough route to get to the NBA Finals if you got to go from the 8th spot.
Okay, well, they're not going to have to go from the 8th spot. But the loss to Dallas on Saturday was their worst loss of the season. That was a terrible loss. They were up 17 points.
That's right.
And then they couldn't score for seemingly 20 minutes, and they end up getting blown out. And it was a doubly damaging loss because they now don't have the tiebreaker with Dallas. They lost the season series 2-1, and so if Dallas ties them at the end of the year, the Lakers drop to 6 and Dallas is the 5. As they currently sit at the 5, their path to the Western Conference Finals could not be better. You get Denver in round 1 with no Jamal Murray. Denver's drawing dead. And then you get Utah in round 2. So the Lakers, if they stay at 5, are in a great position. But 6 would mean potentially the Clippers or the Suns in round 1. And that now your path to the finals is demonstrably more difficult. Luckily for them, the answer to this question is very simple. Will LeBron solve all their problems? Yes, obviously, of course he will. Like, what are we talking about? Guys, listen, I understand that we can't remember everything ever anymore. But
this is laughable.
What did the Lakers look like? Okay, Brandon, except for the fact that this is the team that, what? Tell me.
You come back from Vegas. You come back from Vegas and you just start off our week like this. I mean, the first half of the show's been smooth. You haven't made any bold statements, and then you come back and say LeBron is going to solve the problem. Well, let's go back to 2019. 2019, no AD. What happened? Lakers don't make the playoffs. 2020, what happens? They win it. Now, there's so many things that go into them winning it, the team that they had, the situation. But AD played sensational. Go in the bubble. AD ascended to a position where we were saying, is he the best player in the NBA today? Now we start the season, this year's season, 2021 season. And what happens? AD is not playing well. So, yes, he took off 2 months. There's some rust there. But he comes back and picks up exactly where he left off, and that's not playing good basketball. So I don't know how much of it is him being rusty or how much of it is him picking up where he left off. That's the problem with your team. You need both. You need AD to play the AD ball that he played in the bubble, and you need the LeBron to come back and be LeBron. And I don't see AD picking up his slack.
Except you're wrong. They only need Anthony Davis to be great in the finals. LeBron, if Anthony Davis was done for the year, the Lakers would win the West based on the strength of LeBron. And how can I say that? How can you say that, Nick? Because he is the only player in the league that can control every facet of the game. He dictates the speed. He dictates the tenor of the game, how it's going to be played. He dictates his offense and his team's defense. The only guy in the league that comes close to doing that is Chris Paul, but because Chris Paul is shorter than me, there is a ceiling on how much he can actually control on the defensive end. Yeah. That's it. And so we can do the history lessons of it, but the history lessons are in 2015, this is what LeBron James did. In 2016, it's what he did. 2017, it's what he did. 2018, on a terrible roster, it's what he did. And in 2019, before he ripped his groin, he had a team, a Lakers team with a worse roster than this one, minus AD.
So let me ask you a question.
As the 3 seed before he got hurt. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry to do this because, this is it's not the question, but you brought it up Saturday against Dallas. Like, that doesn't concern you, that game? They had that game. That was a game I watched as well. And then Luka, before the game, what was he doing? He was shooting, nobody on air, nobody around him guarding him, and kept just holding his elbow. Oh, my elbow, my elbow. I mean, it was just bad for him just to get into his form. And then they played a game. In the first quarter, it was the same thing. Once he stopped touching his elbow, it was lights out after that. How does that not concern you? You have AD, the team is playing well, and then they just collapse once Luka stops complaining about his elbow.
Right, because I do not think the Lakers, minus LeBron, are a great team. They remind me a lot of the Anthony Davis Pelican teams. But when you add Wilds, when you add the still best player alive, and the still greatest player ever, and oh, by the way, he all of a sudden just got 6 weeks of rest he wasn't expecting, then yeah, it'll solve all their problems. Like, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see if this is finally the year LeBron James looks bad in the playoffs. It's happened once ever. It was a decade ago. We'll see if this is the year. I don't think it will be, Wilds.
I don't think it will be either. Antoine, I think Nick is right. I don't think anyone in the West wants to play LeBron, and I think every team in the East is hoping that someone takes LeBron out on the way to the finals because the Nets don't want LeBron, Embiid doesn't want LeBron, Giannis doesn't want LeBron. And I don't know how many pieces you can subtract from the Lakers until a team will be like, oh, yeah, you know what? We want to play LeBron. Anthony Davis at 50%, still want to avoid them. Oh, let's say Schroeder wins the lottery and he decides to move. I'd still be afraid of them. I would be afraid of the Lakers regardless. LeBron in the bench and Kuzma, it doesn't matter. LeBron is still the answer. Kuzma. I think Nick is right, and I think every team wants to avoid them, Antoine.
No. He's right in the sense that I wouldn't want to play the Lakers at the 8th seed or the 7th seed. Of course, you're right about that. But the Lakers are not the same team they were last year that won the championship. Anthony Davis is not playing at the level that he played at in the bubble. He's got some time, obviously, to get there, but he's not the same player. He did not start the season off the same way, and he's not the same player. You're banking that LeBron James is going to be this superhero or come back and everything's going to be different. Their team is different. They don't have Rajon Rondo. They don't have Dwight Howard. They do not have JaVale McGee. Those guys were huge in them winning the championship. I got to see it to believe it. I got to see other guys step up and make plays. They also had Danny Green to add to that equation. These other guys, I don't like to pick up with Wes Matthews. He's had a horrible season. KCP3 has not been consistent all season long. Dennis Schroeder's had a great year. Montrezl Harrell has been consistent off the bench. But they don't have the same team that they had that they won the championship last year. And those guys are not playing well. So you actually